All right, guys. So if you could share it out, I know I shared it to the group and to a few other places. Um, Unfortunately, this evening, Dave Daler is not available to do the last lap. His house seems to be sick. I think that they have the flu. So figured it was much better off to not go down to the studio and spend some time in the studio if those guys are all sick, because that's not something that I want. Definitely don't want to get sick. Hey, Anthony, how you doing, buddy? Don't feel like getting the flu. So Dave, I'm sorry, but we are going to definitely, postpone the last lap this week. Hopefully we'll pick it up again next week. We'll see how everybody's doing. So if as long as the health issues don't affect us, the flu's running rampant around our area this time of year. But let's dive right into it. Supercross last weekend. Did anybody pick Cooper Webb? And I know that a bunch of you did, because there are some seriously Cooper Webb fans out there. So he looked really, really, really strong. Coming through, racing with Adam like that, it was phenomenal to see how strong Cooper really was. And I know that the announcers, Ralph and Ricky, kept making a big deal about how, Roger sat him down and said, "Am I wasting my time?" type of thing in sometime in a week or two leading up to it. And it was well deserved. He's been working hard. As in this house, we really like to see Kenny win. But that's just our everybody's got their favorite riders, and it is Kenny. And I know I posted something today. I shared it. There was a picture of Eli Tomac, and I had made mention that I had a gut feeling that come down to the end of the year, that number one plate's going to be on a green bike. And I know Cooper's strong. Kenny's in it. They're all still in it. That's fantastic. And literally, guys, it's nothing. I'm not looking any deeper than just, I have a gut feeling, and I have a pretty big gut at the moment, that the number one plate's going to be on a green bike this year. Eli's looking very, very strong. He, being this far deep into the season and not really having any bad weekends yet, hopefully he's got his stuff together, because I really would like to see either Eli or Ken win the number one plate. Nothing against Cooper Webb, but those two guys, I would really like to see them finish it out and win the title. Well, there's my brother. He just joined in. Hank, share this out. No last lap tonight, Hank. So it's just me live for a little bit. We're just going on. Hey, Phil, how's it going? You're welcome. I got figured we'd do a little impromptu here. I see that the viewership is picking up a little bit. My numbers keep going up a little here. So of the Supercross, did you guys see that it's kind of half-assed footage of the whole Justin Brayton, Jason Anderson deal? That's nuts. Anderson looked like he tried to be aggressive and put the block pass on, kind of push Justin off the track. And then Justin, next to that section of jumps, sort of went down, didn't gain any positions, but he doubled his way back onto the straightaway, and then just blocked past Jason, and Jason ended up going down. That was a crazy pass. Super smooth too. Super smooth the way that Brayton just jumped back onto the track. It's really too bad that the cameras and stuff didn't show that, because that was, like it or not, Anderson dished it out, and then Anderson got it given right back to him. So much respect to those guys. They're racing for a paycheck, so they got to do what they got to do. But it was pretty crazy. The 250 class is the 250 class. The problem that I have with the races in the West Coast is they're on so late that I end up kind of falling asleep, and I usually crash out during the heats and some of the 250 main. And this week was no exception. I'm sure my wife, she's watching, she could attest to the fact that I was probably snoring during the beginning of the 250 main. But once the 450 start, I'm wide awake and I'm ready to go, because that's the class that we're all concerned with. And speaking of that, I know everybody that's playing fantasy is probably hooting and hollering at their screens because of people making passes and not, not doing things in the way that we think they should so that we can win at fantasy. It adds a whole nother element to the game. It's really kind of cool. It's really kind of cool. But at the same time, it I don't know. Do you guys think it takes away from um, some of the experience for you watching the race? Maybe your favorite rider is getting booted back. As in my case, I I made that comment that I was keeping Kenny as the win for the rest of the season after he won that first race, and he didn't get me any points this weekend. So I'm gonna go with it was the red hair. That damn red hair, unbelievable. But in fantasy, Gus 45. I don't know who you are, but you're leading. Great job. You're ranking right now, of course, number one in the group. You have 339 points, and you're actually in the top 500 in the overall ranking for RM Fantasy. We actually have two players that are in the top 500. TH 399. I got no idea who you are either. If anybody knows, put them up. Put them up. CR 500 Sam Man 79. That's my old buddy Pete Jakiel. He's in third. He's got 334 points. He's only 5 points out of the lead right now, and he's in 605th in the overall. Elsinore 27, 324 points. You're in fourth spot. No name. I'm not sure who it is. Free Fall Moto. I haven't figured that one out yet. I mean, I have been knocked around a little bit, got a few concussions. So if you guys can help me out and just, put your names up there, if anything, let me know who you are. It's pretty good. Dom Butler. Yeah, Butner. Sorry, Dom. You're in number 6. That's cool. And Pete Noneman. Amex Pete. He's in 7th. Todd Rashad. I know, Todd, you were watching. You're right there. You're in 8th in the top 10. Anthony Appel. You are watching. I'm positive because you just commented. Good job, buddy. You're in 9th. You're at 305. And Joe Orlando, you're watching as well. You're in 10th with 304. That's the top 10. There's a few more. I see like Steve Windle in 12th and Dan Plords in 14th. I had a phone call with Dan the other day. He's like, I can't believe I moved up so fast. And then he's doing great. John Levesque, the whole It's Jim's Fault campaign, he's up there. He's in 16th. I had a crappy weekend. I was doing reasonably well, and I think I only scored 15 points this weekend. So I'm way down. I mean, I'm like way down the list now. My wife had a good weekend. She kicked ass. She's up to 25th. She blew me away. Unbelievable. Both my kids there in front of me. I'm struggling, man. I think I got some arm pump. But regardless, it's fun playing. Now that the season is about half over, I think what I'll do is I'll go on to RM Fantasy and I'll lock our group so that nobody else can join. I don't want somebody that's got, like 500 points already all of a sudden jump in and start playing and take away our bragging rights. So go back, Gary Frank, go back to top 90 and your name will be mentioned. I saw you in there, Gary. And Joe Orlando, it is stressful. Watching a race, it's like you get nervous still sometimes when you see the guys on the gate and the 5-second car go sideways because you're a racer, because that's what you did and you know what it's like. And you kind of, that butterfly feeling, I don't think it ever goes away. But I'll tell you what, it is absolutely stressful when you have 5 guys that, you're trying to get to finish in the positions you want them to. And then whatever the wild card is. Which, by the way, last week being 8th, it's always tough when it's in the top 10 because there's so many good guys. But anyway, it is stressful because you almost like find yourself swearing at the TV like it's a damn Patriots game. It's like, come on, that's nuts. But anyway, it's a blast. We're having fun with it. Like I said, I'm going to go on. I'm going to lock out the group so that only the players that are in the group now can remain in for the rest of the season. This week, it looks like the wild card position is 15th. So who you got? Who you got? And you know what? Speaking of the Supercrosses, this weekend is the first East Coast round. It's Tampa. We get to see those 250 guys on the East Coast. It's on early enough so that this old man might not fall asleep during the 250 main. Hopefully there's going to be some competition. Our own Jimmy D is going to be on this weekend again. That ought to be good. I can't wait to see some of that. But guys like Hampshire, he's coming in. 2 or 3 others that are just picking up the pace. It'd be good to see Jeremy Martin back on a bike and back on the track. Don't have any clue how any of them are going to do, but it's going to be fun to watch. But the big one, Brock Tickle is off of his suspension, and he is back. That's going to be crazy. Where do you guys have him? Where do you think Brock Tickle's going to be able to finish? To tell you the truth, I haven't seen anything posted. I don't even know what he's going to ride. Is he going to ride a KTM or is he going to ride a JGR Suzuki? Has anybody seen? I haven't seen anything crazy, where he signed or he didn't sign. I know he was doing the testing with those JGR guys, but it would be interesting. I think that they would that would be a good fit for right now, especially with Noren being hurt, with Weston Pike's future questionable, to say the least. JGR really only has the couple of 250 guys at this moment. I don't know if Alex Martin's going to ride the 450 this weekend. It would be kind of cool to see it, but who knows? And by the way, I'm actually drinking water, Hank. I'm not drinking Coors Light tonight. I'm drinking water. I know it's the same thing, but it is what it is. And I'm in my Fat Tire beer glass. So that about covers Supercross. Unless you guys got anything else that you want to talk about. Anthony, good point. I'm just reading a couple of the comments. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying not to bounce around from subject to subject. It's tough when you're live and you guys throw some stuff out there. It has been more equal racing. The series this year has been really, really good. I think it's probably, for me anyway, it's one of the best series that I've seen in a long, long time. I know I mentioned on a previous version of the Last Lap, I think it might have even been last week, those of us that lived through those McGrath eras, and we're Supercross fans, and we were watching how much he actually controlled a race and just absolutely obliterated the field. It was incredible. It was incredible to watch McGrath decimate a field, but it was so boring at the same time that the second that he got the lead, P-break, it's like, oh my God, he's got the lead. Who cares? We'll just let it play out in the background. We'll go do something else. Snacks, beer run, whatever. It is what it is. But this year, hell no. There's so much racing going on this year. I mean, just the interesting stuff that happened this weekend. Davalos and Bam Bam in practice. It was a pretty shitty deal, but it happened. As who knows what happened between those two. What we see on TV might not be what really happened on the track. But him again with Adam Cianciarulo. I'm sorry, Eli Tomac, Barsha and Tomac in the main. There was some words exchanged after the end of that race. And don't forget, these two don't go back very far until they had a pretty heated rivalry in the 250 class. They were fierce competitors, and they were on the same team when they were both running Geico. It was, I'm sure that there's a lot of history between a lot of these racers. The Brayton Anderson incident this weekend, that was pretty interesting. Like I said before, I wish we got a better view of that whole thing instead of, as somebody mentioned earlier, they were probably replaying a clip of how, Ken Roczen broke his arms a couple years ago, because we all have forgotten, all about that in the last couple of weeks. So every time there's a race, they have to keep reminding us and keep replaying the clip over and over and over and over. Joe Orlando Baggett's creeping in. Baggett did awesome this weekend. It was nice to see him finally up there. You're right, he is creeping in. They don't call Mel Chupacabra for nothing. That guy, he comes on strong, especially in the later stages of a race, of a season. He's working hard. He is working hard. Phil Petras, most competitive in recent history for sure. Lots in contention. It's good for the sport. Yep. Phil Bonito, top 12, could win at any given time. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that all depends on your start. Now, I was watching a Swap Moto video, and I believe it was of Aaron Plessinger, and they were talking to him for a little bit. Maybe it wasn't Swap. I'm not sure, but I know it was Aaron. Oh, no, I apologize. Pulp MX last night. Aaron Plessinger was their guest, and he was doing great. I mean, he was right up front. He had a great start. He was looking good. He went into the corner. He lost his front end. It seems to happen to a lot of these guys this year. Is they're losing their front ends. But he had a good point that, when you get up in like 16th or 17th place, you're not charging through the pack. You're not able to make up time. There's so many good guys. It's so fast and so competitive. They can't get there. You just can't get back to the front if you make that small mistake. It all depends on where you get first start, how hard you ride. You have to ride, as he said, if you even slack off for the least little bit, you get down to the last couple of laps. And if you back off a little, you're going to get passed by at least two guys, and you can't get those spots back. It's just incredible, the competition levels this year. It's great for us as they head into the East Coast round. Thankfully, everybody looks like they're still healthy. There's been a few small injuries here and there. A couple people are out, but as far as the top guys go, for the most part, everybody is still healthy. I'm got my fingers crossed that we can make it all the way through to our round and we get to see all these guys. It would be nice to have a race with some serious competition. Granted, the one, I guess, issue that I have with the East Coast races is the dirt is so soft that the tracks tend to rut up and break down. So by the end of a main, it's definitely doesn't seem like it's as aggressive as the starting lap when the track isn't as bad. But hey, if you guys picked up on it this weekend and you looked at some of the ruts, the way the ruts were coming out in San Diego, that dirt looked like it was hard enough that there was chop holes in those ruts coming out of the corners. And that's not something that that's not something that we normally see here in the East. The dirt's soft enough that it digs a big hole and goes right down to the wood or the concrete. So yep, my buddy Matt, a lot does go behind the scenes, especially coming up. They do have a story. Everybody, all these guys, they got stories out there. They're human. There's rivalries. It's great. I mean, you never know who your rival's going to be. And then what is your, relationship with that person going to be like after the fact? Look at Ricky and Chad Reed. That's those guys. They had a mutual respect for each other when they were racing. They were competitors. They definitely, I wouldn't say they hated each other, but there was no friendship there. It was a mutual respect when they were competing. And now, if you listen to the two of them talk to each other, they might as well be best buds. So, Joe Orlando, Tomac's the only guy that come back, done it numerous times. I do agree with you on the fact that he's done it numerous times, and that I don't think he's the only guy that can come back. He comes back faster than everybody else, but I think Cooper Webb is showing us that he is somebody that can do the same thing. I've seen Cooper Webb methodically work his way through the pack. I think if Cooper is somewhere around the top 10, he can get his way to the front as long as nobody is completely, dominating. But what I don't see is anything past that for him. With Tomac, if Tomac is on fire and he is Tomac and he is riding like he can, that dude could probably start in 15th or 16th place and still win the race. It's that crazy. But at the same time, I've said it before, I'm sure I'm going to say it again, Eli is Eli's own worst enemy. He gets in his own head, and then he has a problem. You could tell when he's got the death stare, something happens, he's got a little problem with the bike. Anything happens, and Eli is basically, he beats himself. Let's see. Gary Frank, Cooper was jumping the whoop section. Yes, Cooper I believe I was listening to Adam Cianciarulo talk, and he said Cooper was jumping, I think, 4 and 4 in that second whoop section, and Adam didn't realize it, didn't know the line, and then after Cooper passed him, he saw the line, but he says, I just watched him. All I could do was watch him ride away. Now, if anybody watches or follows I think it's 3 Laps Down on Instagram, he does a lot of stats, and there was an interesting stat today that Cooper was something like 1.7 seconds or 0.7 seconds faster than Adam after he passed him when he was jumping through the whoops. Now, you could actually see that was the only spot that Cooper was really pulling away, and he was pulling away every lap. It was crazy. Lee Correa, I know my rival. Lee, he's watching. You guys aren't at the gym right now? That's dude, I even worked out before I came up and got online. I was on the rower for half an hour. Don't think I pushed too hard, but I was still on the rower for half an hour. All right, guys. So with the Supercross stuff, we're kind of, unless there's something else that you guys throw out there and you want me to touch back on and we can talk about, I think we pretty much beat that dead horse. There's a couple of things that are going on. Before we get too far, oh, hey, Darren Corson, how are you? Checking in from the West Coast, Oregon. Looking good out there in those races, buddy. I like that bike. Darren's got a great swing arm decal on his bike. That 616. It's got the old men that used to race hashtag as his swing arm decal. All right, so one of the things I just wanted to talk about real quick was there was a situation today in the group that a post kind of went sideways. One person was kind of being an instigator, and let's just say that he's no longer part of the group. It got crazy. It got crazy, and you know, we know for the most part, the normal guys, the guys that are part of us that post all the time, everybody has their own situations. Everybody has, you know, little quirks and stuff like that that we deal with that we might, you know, get pissed off about, but we don't call people out for the most part on it. And this was a rough situation. The post was nothing out of the ordinary. And this gentleman preferred to, you know, just keep pushing the buttons and pushing the buttons and pushing the buttons. And when that happens, it's no good for anybody. What I think the best thing, I mean, I put up a post today and said, thank you guys for 2 years worth. I mean, we might have had maybe 20-ish situations that myself, the admins, anything like that, we might have had to take a look at. We might have had to remove some of the posts. We definitely have declined people trying to get in and be members. We view that. But I mean, we want you guys to have this group, the Old Men That Used to Race group. I know that I'm on a few more places too right now when I'm going live. But the Old Men That Used to Race group is really about you guys. And it's about the experiences that you guys had involving motorcycles, friends, growing up, racing with each other, just having a blast. And there's a ton of people in it. There's over 2,800 members in that group now. It's not a place to take, you know, and call each other out and pick a fight, whatever. It is what it is. Do that in the regular Facebook. That's just, there's drama out there. So you guys are doing great. I think it's awesome. He's no longer a member. What I wanted to say is if something is like that, because there are people that we might not know in it commenting on some of the posts, just report it. Let us know, and we'll take a look at it. Don't engage with them. You know, don't piss yourself off so much that you have to come back and apologize to the rest of the people in the group because you lost your temper. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. When you think about it, it's just motorcycles. It's who we are. It's motorcycles. We're all one big moto family. Let's just have it. Let's just have fun, and just keep it going like it has been the last couple of years. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. I was privileged enough to stop by the J-Day Expo on Saturday. Gary Frank. Yes, Gary Frank, you can give Lee Correa crap Lee Correa, you can give Gary Frank crap. We'll let it. We'll allow it. You know, you got probably a dozen referees between the two of you guys. So anyway, back to the JD Expo. It was great because I got to see so many people from you know, my past, my history with racing, lots of friends. As it turns out, you know, I walk in. If you guys don't know, I have, let's see, I have both Tom from Zero Resistance Throttles. He helps me out. He supports me. Chris Seabass from Evans Power Sports. He helps me out. He supports me. They were right there. I got to see the Plastow guys. Will Hopkins. Will's a great dude. I've talked to him a number of times. Thinking walking around the room. The Answer booth. Scott Buxton, huge help to and supporter of Old Men That Used to Race. Got to spend some time with him. Apparently, he may be kicking my ass on a bicycle in the snow at Bear Brook Park this weekend, but that's still to be determined. We have to wait and see. Poacher was there. It's always good to see Poacher and spend time with Poacher. Let's see, Dave Hutchins from Hutch Power Sports. Dave is an old friend. He's a great dude, and he surprised me on Sunday morning by driving into the parking lot for our mountain bike ride with a few people. So it was great to see Dave, talk to Dave. I talked to the crew from Factory Connection. I've talked to the crew from Kevin Cycles. We got to talk to, let's see, I got to talk to a number of people. I talked to Tony Stack from REP. Now, granted, Factory Connection does help me out with my suspension. Ziggy and I go way back. Terry, I remember when Terry took over Race Service. Those guys helped me out tremendously with my bike. And they helped me with the vintage bike. They're great. Tony Stack is also a very good friend of mine from way back. Tony, we were going to try to get on next time we do the last lap. We got to get him back on. He got to go over and witness the Isle of Man TT firsthand. And that is an insane experience that I'm sure that he would love to share with a lot of you guys and our viewers, just to tell you about it and talk a little bit. He's definitely got things going right with his company, REP, and he's doing a whole lot of good things. But it's always cool to hear from Tony. Yeah, Scott can ride. He can ride. I got to spend a few minutes talking to John Day Sr. Now, John Day's a rider from back in my time. Matter of fact, J. Brian Day, the sweatshirt. So, I mean, his company specializes in emergency services. If you guys ever have a problem where you have a disaster, a flood, a fire, anything like that, those are the guys to call. They can get you back running again. They get, you know, homes, businesses, whatever it is, they take care of it. And they take care of lots of stuff. So if you're ever in the need, give them a holler. Emergency services for sure. Casey Bates, you have no video. Oh, your internet was a potato. Well, Darren Corson, you said you had no video either. Hopefully you guys have video. I mean, any of the rest of you guys, do you have a problem with video, or do you have a problem with sound? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Maybe you're better off if you don't see me. I don't know. I might not break your monitors. So, couple of cool things that I saw that I've been privy to was saw the post, of course, about the Jeff Stanton Vintage Supercross, and that is on Tuesday after the Daytona Supercross. So you got Daytona Saturday, Ricky Carmichael's Amateur Day Supercrosses. I think it's on Sunday, maybe it's Sunday and Monday, and then Tuesday the track is rolled out smoother and goes out with the vintage bikes. That is something I am definitely planning on hitting for 2021. It's a whole week. I hope the whole schedules work out like they're going to for 2020, for 2021, because you got those Supercrosses. I would love to go down, witness Daytona, hang around, maybe check out the Ricky Carmichael Amateur Day Supercross. I got no ambition to go out there on my modern bike and try to jump some of that shit, even if it's tamed down. I'm good. As I mentioned before, it hurts like hell even when you downside things and you land properly. But when the track's toned down for a vintage day, I'd love to get the 89s out there and run it. And yes, I did say 89s because I have the 89 now, but hopefully by 2021, when I can get down there, I'm going to have a second one. as a backup and stuff. So now, Day in the Dirt East is at Dade City. That's that following weekend. Put on by Fast House, same thing as it is out west. From what I saw from the layouts and from what I posted, it looks killer. It looks killer. That is something that I absolutely, positively, 100% must stay down in Florida and do. Please, guys, if anybody knows anybody, make sure it happens in 2021, because I want to do that shit. That looks like a blast. It's not going to happen this year. The budget's not there. We've already pretty much got everything set aside for Rewind and for a few of the events we're doing. I just saw Dan Floyd joined the first old men that used to race, I would say official event will be a ride day at his track MX23 in Brookfield on Memorial Day weekend. Now, I haven't put an event together and sent it out yet, but I know that a bunch of you guys, Phil Petras, you were asking, a couple other guys are asking when we're going, when the ride days are going to start. Unlike last year, I put together a whole schedule and said, let's do this. The problem is there's so many events running. Some of you guys run series, NESC, NEMX, New York guys, MSC. It's tough because there's events running all the time, and I know that a lot of you guys want to go. So I think we're just going to wing it this year. We're going to cut it back a little bit and say, here, this is where we're going to be. You know, we're going to be here, we're going to be there, whatever. I'm not going to put a whole schedule together. There's things that I want to do too. I would love to get to the Racer X main event this year, and I haven't been there the last couple of times. Casey Bates, yes, I'm sorry, I'm swapping around a little bit. Yes, the Day in the Dirt map runs through 2 buildings down at Dade City. That ought to be damn cool. So anyway, I don't know. It's going to be something that's a little different this year because of Rewind. I want to try to get out to the Broome Tioga round of ACR if they still have it. We're definitely going to get to our local rounds of ACR at Central Village and Southwick, unless of course I have to work that day. We're going to run the Northeast Vet Championship when that comes to Southwick. My plan right now, guys, for the Northeast Vet Championship is I want to run the vintage class. I don't particularly, feel the need to go out and try to dice with some of you guys in the 50A class. I don't need to get my body beat up and my ass beat up like that. That's crazy. You guys race all the time. You race the track. That's great. I'm going to go for the vintage class. The first year we did it in 2018, the vintage class was huge. There was a lot of people on the line, a lot of cool bikes, all kinds of stuff. Last year, there was 3 bikes. There was Kenny Napolitano on his 89 KX 250. His friend was on a KX 125, and then an Old Mako. And I'm not sure who had the Old Mako, but it's been a while. I've knocked my head around a couple of times, so I can't quite remember. But there was 3 bikes, so let's build it this year. We all have builds going on. Let's go out and let's blow that class up and have a blast. That should be absolutely fun. But there will be a few ride days. Like I mentioned before, we're going to go to MX23. We're going to try to go to New Hampshire MX. That's a great track. We're going to go out to Echo in New York. Now, I was talking with Paul Cornell about Echo Valley. We may actually rent the track as a private day, so it might be a group-only type of ride. How'd you guys like that? If we could get a day that would work for everybody, private day. It's about 3 hours from me in southeastern Mass to get out there. It's just south of Albany. But great track, woods. You want to ride the woods, it's great. We'll get a few of those going. Other than that, guys, there really isn't, too much in my plans. I just want to, just like you guys, have some fun riding our dirt bikes and kick back, enjoy. We got the camper coming, so I'm going to hang out with all of you guys. Maybe we'll have a couple beers and we'll ride some dirt bikes when we can. Mountain bikes here and there too. The mountain bikes are pretty crazy. If anybody saw, we had a huge turnout this past Sunday in Vietnam up in Milford. 21 21 riders, quite a few motocross and off-road guys showed up to ride with us. We were actually missing probably 8 or 9 of our regulars because they had other stuff going on. So these are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. If you guys want to ride with us, don't be hesitant because of confidence levels, or we're not pros. I mean, as Jason Ferrer can attest to, he was out there. Some of the guys from his area came with him. There's a couple of guys that are really, really good. The big drops, all kinds of stuff, but that's not the norm. The norm is most of us just getting together and pounding out a few miles and having some fun. And then at the end, we, Jeff Martell brought his grill, cooked up some burgers and dogs. Sometimes there's a couple of beers going around. Granted, it was still early on a Sunday, so there's stuff going on. But some of the night rides, we have a few beers going around. It's just a blast. It's a good time hanging out. And we welcome everybody to come ride with us. We picked up a few guys that have been non-motorcycle riders. So that's up to you guys. If you want to come out and join, don't hesitate to do it, because none of us are pros. All we do is just a bunch of older guys beating ourselves up on bicycles. I don't know what else I got to cover with you guys tonight. So I apologize about the whole, not being able to do the last lap. We did take last week off. Marie had a meeting. Dave had stuff going on with the kids. I was a little bit busy. I ended up actually mountain biking because it was going to rain on Thursday, so I knew the show wasn't happening. I took advantage of that. Oh, Anthony, did someone hit that big drop in the video? Yes. Paul Latender hit that twice in the video. And then I'm not sure, one of the guys that came with him, he hit it too. I'm not sure which one it was, but that drop was hit 3 times. And if you saw that drop ahead of time, all those guys that were there with me, they all cleaned the leaves off it. Paul knew it was there. So they knew exactly where to find it. It doesn't look like it had been hit in years, but there was some sort of a landing ramp built up. They cleaned all the leaves off of that. They pulled a couple of tree branches that had been broken in the way. They got them out of the way, and next thing you know, they're sending that thing. It was absolutely crazy. 10 plus foot drop, I would have to estimate. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Oh, Casey Bates, tires for the 125s. 86 is 86 125. That's awesome. He's trying to find reeds. Anybody know where Casey Bates can get a set of reeds for an 86 KX 125? How's your builds going, everybody? Anthony, you got a great build going on that KTM. I know that a bunch of you other guys have builds going on. I saw a couple of posts with different ones happening. A lot of people are picking up these bikes. Now's the time. I was talking to the guys from Factory, and they're looking into, diving deeper into the vintage world with suspension and stuff. They did a fantastic job on my shock. They took basically 2 KX 250 shocks and built one out of it because the parts are so hard to find. What ended up happening with my bike is whoever had it for me was definitely just beating around in the woods. It looks like he hit a stone wall because the pipe had a dent that went right across the middle of the bottom. There was only 2 dents in the frame rails. Looked like the same impact. Other than that, the frame rails were absolutely perfect. And the shock clevis was bent at a 30-degree angle from the rod because that thing got absolutely smashed. So they basically took it apart. I bought another shock off of eBay for like $75. It had a good shock shaft and stuff in it. They sent it out. They had it re-chromed. They took all the guts from the best of them. They put all brand new seals. You can still get all those parts, I guess. So they put all new seals and a bunch of stuff in it and rebuilt the whole damn shock for me. And what a job they did. It came out awesome. Just riding that sucker around at Wareham last fall. That bike was a blast, and it soaked up everything. I didn't jump the the big tabletop in the middle because the forks are still so soft. I got to do something with those springs. I haven't sent them up, but they're going to be going to factory soon. Hank, you saw that FC has a spring conversion for the AER 48. Yes, they do. They do have a spring conversion for it. They were the ones that took care of my 4CS, the problems that I had with 4CSs on my KTM. Joe Orlando, my drop days are over. Back to mountain bikes, yes. Joe, my drop days are over too. They never started, but they're over. I'm not going to do it. So let's see. What do you guys got out there? What's going on there with your bikes? Anybody run into issues like Casey looking for a set of reeds? Put it out there. Post it. If you're looking for stuff and you can't find it, you never know who's going to have it. As I was building my KX, I had 3 or 4 people hit me up and tell me, if you need stuff, let me know. I built 2 or 3 of them. I have a bunch of parts. So sometimes people in the group are your best resources. You don't have to go to eBay. You don't have to, try to scour your national dealer database. Granted, that's always a good option because you're looking at new stuff. But a lot of the guys in the group, guys, we got 2,800 members in our group now. You're also, more than welcome to use the page that I have set up. Granted, there might be a lot of duplicate with members in the group also following my page, but I got over 3,000 on that. Northeast MX, 32-1, all that stuff. There's thousands and thousands of people out there that you can reach. I don't mind if you post to my page. I think that would be great. If you're looking for something for a vintage bike and you're having a hard time, put it out there. We got some phenomenal people that are doing bike builds in the Old Men That Used to Race group. So if you need something, ask advice. Get it out there. Ask advice. You never know who's going to answer you. 2,800. Darren, what are you talking about? 2,800. Maybe I missed a post, but so what are your plans? Anybody racing? Anybody going to Florida? I know Tampa's this weekend. A lot of us East Coast guys are probably heading down. Billy Hobbs is down there. He was having a Tampa party and Tampa get together. Some of the guys from that era just before me are down there. Who's going down? Who's flying? What's the deal? Mentioning guys from that era. I want to get together and write a little blog about it. I don't know if a lot of you guys realize this, but when you guys line up on a starting gate, do you know where the backwards starting gate came from? I can tell you, Dwight Roy, the 1975 NESC Open Expert Championship, his dad built it right here in New England. And I guess it's got a rich history. I'm going to reach out to Dwight. I want to get some more of the details, but it's a pretty interesting story. And I think any of you guys that have raced or do race that don't know about it, I think it's up to us. I think I'm going to make it my responsibility to get the story out and write about it and talk about it, because the way that they used to start before, with rubber band starts, with forward falling gates, with all that stuff, all I can say is thank you to his dad, because I mean that's probably one of the best things that has happened in motocross is that backwards falling starting gate. Casey Bates Middleborough, yes, that was the first track I was told that it was used at, was Middleborough. But yeah, I'll reach out to Dwight and see if I can get some info and go from there. I think he might be going down to Florida with Billy and some of those guys. Love to go down and hang with them. It's always a blast when you get to talk to some of those guys and listen to their knowledge. Oh my gosh, it's crazy to see what happened before our times in racing, and just to get a handle on some of the history. It's awesome. Check out Bill's profile, Bill Hobbs. He's in our group too. He's got pictures and pictures and pictures from all kinds of different things that he took, that other guys took from the Cycle Sport magazines, you name it. He's got a virtual history and photos is what I should probably call it. And he makes them available so that you can all check them out. So, all right, Ronnie's mail order. Phil Petros. Ronnie's mail order ended up with tons of NOS and aftermarket parts from the old Dirtworks store. Email Brian or call John Levesque and mention Old Men That Used to Race, and he will get you to the right mail order guy. You know what? When you guys deal with some of those companies, just tell them it's Jim's fault, and they'll know. They'll know. John even offers discounts when you mention it's Jim's fault. So definitely when you get a hold of Ronnie's, mention it's Jim's fault. I'm working with a bunch of other people that they love it. They love posting and they love seeing it. So it's cool. It's cool. Jeff O'Connell, you're headed to Florida. That's going to be a good time. I'm jealous. Do not eat the state. I know how much of an appetite you have. The day in the dirt at Dade City. If you do that, dude, I better see pictures because I want to see what's going on. That has got me going. It kind of looks like I did the old the Mini O's back in '87 when they had the Grand Prix race at the end of the week, and basically you ran the motocross track. I think we might have even run a small section of the supercross track, but then we ran out through all the little pines and stuff that they had in the back, and it was so much fun. I'd say it's like a J-Day, but it's not, because it was just a little tiny scrub pines that were no more than 5-10 feet tall. So you didn't have all the roots, you didn't have the rocks, the stuff that's out here. We're used to the East Coast and the Northeast, which it's rough in the woods. I'm not a woods rider, but down there, it was a blast to do. All right, let me just take a look. What else do we got here? Darren Corson, backwards gates are the best thing until you dig. Yeah, absolutely. When your front wheel gets caught in that gate, it sucks. It sucks. You went to get valves and shims and an oil filter, and they acted like you're floating from Mars. Well, dude, yeah, you might have flown in from Mars. I mean, who knows? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's some of these dealerships, they're so focused on the new bikes that it's tough to get the old parts. So you got to find a good one and go from there. The Team Green setup sheets, where they would suggest porting, pipe changes, etc. Yes, I do remember those. There's a few people out there that are from those days that would do a lot of the motor work. Tom Morgan Racing, he did a lot of the motor work with Kawasaki, and I'm sure he had a big hand in setting up some of those Team Green sheets. Yamaha monthly wrench reports, yes, they did. Some of those companies still have that stuff. It's just online, so they send you stuff to your email. All right, did I miss anything? Oh, Darren Corson, 2,800 members. Yes, sorry, that's where the 20. I kept saying it. I didn't even think about it. You are right. 2,800. It's a big number. This group has grown considerably. That's fantastic. I know we have a bunch of new members. I keep sending out the posts every week. Before I sign off tonight, I just want to remind you guys that are playing fantasy to not forget to make your picks. It's an East Coast round this week, guys. It starts earlier. Don't forget Brock Tickle's back. He could be a good contender for our wild card in 15th place. Who knows? But it's going to be an interesting weekend, to say the least. I just want to say thank you guys, too, for checking in on kind of an impromptu just go live on a Tuesday night. I know that we have a bunch of steady viewers, and we haven't been doing the last lap a couple of weeks. So I will try to do my best to come on and do live updates and stuff when we're not going to do the show because of certain situations. I know Dave is kind of bummed out because his house is sick, and he didn't want to spread the germs around. So again, we apologize for not doing the last lap this week, but we will get back to it. Anybody who's just checking in, I'm going to save this link and publish it. If you really are interested in going back and checking it out, please feel free. I may try to go live on my Instagram account here and there. I might even go on in a few minutes and just talk a little bit about kind of some of the same stuff, just fantasy supercross and things like that. Try to build that up, but we'll see. Something to play with. Anyway. Oh, Hank says he misses Dave and pizza. Dave, yeah, I don't miss the pizza too much. I gained too much damn weight from eating that pizza. Thanks, John Levesque. I know you want to, make sure you put a big boy spring on the back of that KX450 because I will be riding it. All right, guys. Before I go, Jeff O'Connell, any of the Old Man crew wants to ride in Florida. He's going to be at PAX, Waldo, Bostwick, and Spider. So message him. Use Facebook Messenger. Hit him up. If you guys are in Florida and you want to ride with Geoff, maybe bring him some Red Bull and zebra cakes. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. But all right. All right, guys. Thanks for checking in. I'll go back. I'll view all the comments and stuff and see if I missed anything. And have a great Tuesday evening.